What's up everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I will cover cutting pavers and blocks with a standard right angle grinder that takes a 4.5 inch diameter disc. For this video, I have 3 different blocks that vary in size. 8x4x2, 16x8x2, and 16x8x4. First, you will need a 4.5 inch diameter blade made to cut concrete. I got this one because it was what was sitting on the shelf at Home Depot. There was nothing special about the selection. The $10 cost was worth every penny to be able to easily cut through concrete. I've cut a lot of concrete with this over the last 4 years, and it's still going strong. It'll probably last me the rest of my life. During use, the body of the grinder will be touching the paver, and the cutting depth is only where the cutting wheel protrudes past the body of the grinder, and it will only be able to cut about 1.25 inches deep. It won't be able to cut all the way through this block, or this block. The way to handle this is to cut all the way around. However, on thicker blocks, cutting 1.25 inches deep on one side and 1.25 inches deep on the other side will still not make it all the way through. There will be a solid core in the center. But don't worry about that, I will show you how to handle that in the video. First, let's draw a cut line all the way around the block. I locate the line so that I cut on the line to get the desired dimension, so the finished part will not have a marker line on it. And let's quickly mark the other 2 all the way around as well. For all 3 blocks, I went right down the center to split them in half. And before we start cutting, I highly recommend some long sleeves, some breathing protection, eye protection, hearing protection, and some gloves. Concrete dust gets everywhere, and the grinder is loud. Now, let's go do some cutting. And welcome to the cutting area. We have the small block, the medium block, and the big block. And we will start with the big block, so I can show you how to deal with the solid core in the center. I clamped it down to hold it in place while cutting, but the block was so heavy the clamps were not needed, so I did not reinstall them when rotating the block to cut each edge. The concrete blade is super easy to use, and it eats right through the block no problem. When cutting the blocks dry, concrete dust gets everywhere. I had a second camera set up farther away to capture the dust cloud, but when I checked my footage, there was nothing there. My guess is because it's like 90 degrees outside, and it probably overheated and shut off or something. So here we are. We've cut all the way around the block as deep as we can, but there's still a good sized solid core in the center. To split it, just whack one end with a hammer, and they will break apart, and the break is surprisingly clean. I've done it many times, and it's worked every time, and it's always fun to see. And here's a close-up of the break. It's pretty clean, but it's not quite flush. There's a little bit of material sticking out. But that's no problem, it's super easy to clean up. Just run the cutting wheel over it at an angle and flatten it out. And here's a close-up of it cleaned up. The face looks pretty nice and it's flat. Mission accomplished. And let's quickly cut the other 2 blocks. These blocks are thin enough that the blade will meet in the middle and cut all the way through. No hammer required. On this block, the 2 cuts didn't quite line up, but again, it's super easy to clean up the face. So, cutting pavers and blocks can easily be done with a standard right angle grinder. You just need to make a small, roughly $10 investment in a masonry blade. These were just a few examples of a few basic cuts right through the center, but you can cut pretty much any shape or design that you want to. And when cutting, please stay safe. So, that wraps this up. I hope you found it helpful or entertaining. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.